that represents that the clown is not really becoming happy. He's not really happy, or he's not even reacting to that. So in the next stanza, the clown is saying the reason, the wife is saying the reason why the clown is not happy. So in the fifth stanza, but he doesn't say exactly how he feels. So this could be the problem with us also. Like many people in nowadays have many problems in their life, but they don't exactly say how they feel. So that is the problem with the clown also here. The clown is having some many responsibilities, duties, and so much thing in his heart, but he's not really expressing how he feels. Doesn't say what's bothering him inside. So the wife is noticing something is bothering her husband inside, but the clown, the husband, is not really expressing or telling it to wife, because if he said it, the wife could have divide the responsibilities or take any other actions to make him happy. But the clown is not really expressing it. So that's a problem with the clown. She's saying this is a problem with the clown. Just sits there saying almost to himself. So in the next line, the wife is going to tell something to the readers what the clown will be saying. Like she's going to say, he will sit there and say something like this. So let's see what is he going to say. Oh life, our life, what would I do without this clown of a wife? So this word, this sentence or this phrase is told by the clown, not by the clown's wife. So because in the fifth stanza, we can see the clown's wife is telling that he will sit in that side and tell something to himself. So he will tell something to himself. The thing he's telling is, oh life, our life, what would I do without this clown of a wife? So here, through this phrase, "all life, our life," there are two aspects of life represent. Like when we say "all life," it means like sad feelings or not a happiness. Like "all life," he's worrying and telling that. And the next moment, he's saying "our life," which represents the relief and the happiness in life. So here, the two aspects of life is presented. And in the next line, he's saying, what would I do without this clown of a wife? So here we can see an irony presented here, because the clown is the one who is speaking, but the clown is saying, what could I do without this clown of a wife? So is the clown is saying himself as a wife here? Yes, the clown is saying himself as the wife and his wife as a real clown, because we saw already that the wife will be borrowing wearing the clown's red nose and do the card tricks and tell some jokes and whatever. Yeah, she will be doing many things to make the clown happy. So here the clown is saying his wife is the real clown and I am her wife. So clown is representing himself as a wife, and the wife as a clown. So it's irony presented here. It is also a technique used by the poet. So this is the analysis of this poem. So main theme of this poem is difference between the public face and the private face. In the public face, this clown is being an entertainer, but in the private face, he's normal human, houseman, or normal human. So this shows the difference between the professional life of people and the personal life of people. So if you look at the literary devices, first of all, figurative language, we can see all through the poem, we can see that figurative language is presented, like she's saying when he walks through that door, so we can get a visual imagery in our mind. So figurative language is used here. Then metaphor, like in the second stanza, she's saying king on a throne, like he's the ruler of the world. When he's an entertainer, he's the ruler of the world. So there's a metaphor used there. It is also a poetic technique used by Johnson Agard. Then through the third and fourth line, we can see the visual imagery. Then use of colloquial words. Colloquial words mean some mistake words, because when we read the third stanza, fourth stanza, let me read it for you. I do my best to cheer him up, I juggle with eggs, I turn cartwheels, I tell jokes, I do me latest card tricks, I even have a borrow of his straight nose. So when we read this stanza, we could see some grammatical mistakes presented here. We can see there could be something, there's a mistake used by poet as a technique here. Because when we normally say, we will say, I will do my best, or I will try my best, or we will say. But here the girl is saying, the wife is saying, I do me best. But normally no one say, I do me best. That's a mistake, right? That's a grammatical mistake. But the wife is saying, I do me best. I turn card wheels. I do me latest card tricks. So there's a mistake used here. But it is also a poetic technique used by the Jones and Agard, the poet, to show the educational level of the clown's wife, or the segment of the society, because on those days, as a clown of a wife, she was not really educated person. She's like normally not a well-educated person. So to show the educational level, or to show the segment of the society, the poet Johnson Agard is using it as a technique, and that is called colloquial words. Then we can see alliteration just here, some arising of rhymings and many more things. Then assonance, moan, throne, those are like vowel sounds are coming from those things. Then rhetorical questions. That's the main thing. In the first stanza as well as in the last stanza, we can see this technique used, because rhetorical questions mean asking a question to the reader, not without expecting an answer. So the speaker is asking a question to the reader, like she's asking about my husband, the clown, what could I say? So there's a question mark there. There's a question asked to the readers, but without expecting the answers, because she's going to say she's going to say the answer in the very next line. So it is also a technique used by the poet. So there are many techniques like this. Then irony, I already told you in the last stanza, we can see the clown of a wife. So there's irony presented there. So these are the poetic techniques used by the Johnson Agard in this poem. So this is the analysis of this poem. I think it will be clear. Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Poem, The Clone's Wife, by Johnson Agard. Before going to analyze the poem, when we take a look in the about the poet, Johnson Agard was born in 1949, and he is a poet who reveals a keen social observations and wit imagination in his poems. Agard's usual themes are ethnicity, mythology, and technological advancement. In his all poems, he wants to apply a playful and entertaining approach towards the readers. According to that, when we look at this poem, we can feel both feelings about this poem. When we take a look in the title indicates the clone's wife. From this, we can understand this reveals the wife of the clone, or maybe this poem can reveals about the clone or clone's wife. From this, we can understand this poem is about a clone story, and we all know that clone is a person who entertains people. That means he is a professional joker. He entertains the peoples with his comedic actions and jokes. When we look at the first when in this poem is poem is mainly show or indicates the duality between the professional and personal life of a human. According to that, the poet uses the clone as a human using clone. The poet wants to reveal how human should be in their personal and professional life. Through to the clone, he wants to show the humans' normal life in their personal and professional life. When we look at when we go to the poem, about my husband, the clone, what could I say? In the first stanza, The poet that means he just asked about my husband. He just used a comma in the first line. We can understand that she wants to, the speaker is the clone's wife here. According to that, she wants to post about my husband. From that, we can understand a confusion in her mind. The confusion about the confusion of the wife is come from the hesitation of her life. From that, we can understand she is not in she is not in a position to reveal her husband's life before a person. And about my husband, here the poet uses the possessive pronoun to show the intimacy. Intimacy means the personal relationship between a husband and wife. According to that, the poet wants to reveal how they have a strong relationship between them. About my husband, the clone. From that, we can understand that clone's wife is the speaker of this poem. What could I say? She is not in a position to reveal how she feels about her husband. And the poet uses the literary device inversion in this poem, in this stanza, to reveals the confusion properly, because inversion is the literary device which is in order the words or the questions. According to that, here the poet is in ordering the question. That means it should be like, what could I say about my husband? But here the poet uses about my husband, what could I say? From this we can understand the poet uses the literary device inversion. In the second stanza, on stage, he is a different person. Up there, he is a king on a throne, but at home, you should hear him more. In the second stanza, the wife of the clone reveals the differences between the personal and professional life, because on stage he is a different person. In this line, we can understand he is not a person who he is a different person when comparing their personal life, because when she comparing her personal life, the clone is a different person in her personal life and in his professional and personal life. That's why the poet uses the adjective different to show how he is a different person in his professional and personal life. Up there, he is a king on a throne. From this, we can understand. We all know that king is a perfect person in his work or to rule their country. According to that, the speaker of this poem uses that he's a king on a throne. From that, we can understand he is a proper or perfect person in his professional life, but he is not a person who is proper in his personal life. Throne is a special chair used by a king or queen. According to that, when a king is on a throne, he had a brave. Like that, when clone works in his workplace, he is a king who had bravery like that. But at home, you should hear him more. From that, we can identify the differences between the personal and professional life, because the wife reveals that in home we can hear his moan, because he is not the happiest person in his personal life, but he wants to show him as a happiest person or perfect person in his professional life. According to that, we can understand the differences between the personal and professional life. Mourn, and also mourn is come from the hardship of a person. Mourning is a make a long, low sound expressing physical or mental suffering. According to that, mourn is come from the hardship. The hardship of the clone may be came from his economical level, or if he thinks about his job, that means he is a clone. But when he comparing his job to others, he maybe feels a hardship, or his economical situation also make him a hardship situation. From that, he is mourning in his personal life. And when we look at the third stanza, the moment he walks through that door without that red nose and funny clothes, he seems to have the world on his shoulder. When he, that means here that door is mentioned, that the resting room. So the wife knows every actions of her husband. According to that, when the husband is go through that dressing room door, she knows that the husband is changes his character also, how he changes his dress. According to that, he's going to change his character from his professional life, because when he is situated with that red nose and funny clothes, he is a perfect person in his life. But when he changed those things, then he will also changes his life also, because in his personal life he is not a happiest person. According to that, he is going to changes his character also. His after that, the speaker reveals that he seems to have the world on his shoulder. From this, we can understand the hardship or the work, the work pressure of her husband, because of that hardship, he may feels that the world is situated in his shoulder. That is not an easy task to have the world in our shoulder. But here the poet reveals the hardship of the clone in this, through this line. That means how is his life is hard, or how he is not ready, or not how he feels about his personal life is revealed by this line. When we look at the fourth stanza of this poem, we can understand the wife's love, or wife's action to make her husband happy, because in his her husband is not a happiest person in his life. So she wants to make her husband happy. According to that, she do her best to cheer the husband up. According to that, I do my best to cheer him up, poor soul. I juggle with eggs, I turn hard wheels, I tell jokes, I do me latest hard tricks. I even borrow of his red wheels. According to that, we can understand how she wants to make her husband. That means she just pull it. I do me best to cheer him, cheer him up. From this, we can understand she tries her level best to she's like trying her level best to make the husband happy. And the diction poor soul, we can understand that poor soul means a sympathy, expression of sympathy, and poor soul is not a, we can feel sympathy about that. So the wife is also feel very sad about his husband. So she wants to reveal poor soul. From this, we can understand how the husband is poor in his personal life, and she is taking the clone's character in the home to make her husband happy. So she does the things which is made by the clone in his professional life. That we all know that especially performing the like cartwheels, may cause physical injuries, but she never thinks about herself. She wants the happy of her husband, so she want to reveal so she want to do anything before her husband to make him happy. So so after all these actions, she's put the red nose, that means that which is used to make the people happy. She according to that, she is using the red nose to make the people happy. From this stanza we can understand the love towards we can understand the wife's love towards her husband. In the fifth stanza of this poem, but he doesn't say exactly how he feels. From this line, we can understand that um, he will never feels happy. He will never say how he feels, or doesn't say what's bothering him inside. From this is the main problem that we also have in our day-to-day life, because we will never say what is bothering. We have many problems in our personal life, but we don't want to share the problems with us. Like that, the clone also don't want to share his problems with his wife or family. Because of that, he is mourning and bothering in himself, or in his inside of his inside him. From this we can understand that the husband is not ready to share his emotion with his family. That may be the main problem for his sadness in his personal life. When we look at the sixth stanza, all life, our life, what would I do without these clone of wife? From this, we can understand here the clone of wife is considered as the clone. That means the wife is considers as the husband, and the clone is considered as the wife. So we can understand that this implies that he also loves his wife and admires her role as a wife. He may think that his life would be much more bitter than without his wife. That may be revealed by this line. And the first line, all life. From that we can understand the sadness of his life, and our life. From that we can understand the happiness of his life. When we look at this poem, we can mainly understand about the personal and professional life. That means the differences between the personal and professional life. And when we look at the view of this, the poetic techniques used in this line, we can understand here the poet uses mainly the irony. We can feel very sympathetic towards the clone and the clone's wife in this poem, and the visual imagery. When we take a look, juggled eggs and do card beats, from that we can visualize uh, the things which is did by her wife, his wife. And the poet uses the metaphors in the second stanza. On stage he is a different person, up there he is a king on a throne. Like that, the poet uses many literary devices in this poem, and from this poem we can mainly understand the differences between the personal and professional life of a human also, because a normal person also never uh, do like this, because the characteristic between a personal and professional is different on each other.